Hey guys, in this video, I'll be covering the 1.3 update characters Xiao and Hu Tao, and go over both of the characters' skills and answering the question on who to roll for, Xiao or Hu Tao. Xiao is an Anemo main DPS with the highest base attack with a crit rate ascension stat. In a lot of leaked gameplay videos, he seems like a character that is very fun to play with quick mobility. You can lunge and perform attacks in mid-air, so he'll be pretty unique in terms of how you approach enemies. On paper, he seems like a main DPS that can carry your team. However, he doesn't have artifacts that can benefit him the most as he is an Anemo character. He doesn't really need any elemental reactions because Anemo damage doesn't really bode well compared to melt or vaporize damage. And because he is a Anemo character, he doesn't really need any specific support to match his playstyle. As of now, he needs 70 charges for his elemental burst, so his weakness is definitely his ability to recharge fast enough. If you don't have any other Anemo characters, it's probably harder to spam his elemental burst. His middle constellation doesn't really seem game changing, so Xiao is viable as C0. Hu Tao is a Pyro main DPS. She has the highest HP but the lowest base attack out of all the polearm users. Her Ascension stat adds crit damage. Her playstyle is normal attacks with low HP, so if you like dodging attacks with low HP to maximize your damage, she is your character. Her attacks are skilled off of her max HP, so she can have the highest attack out of all the polearm users, but you have to keep Hu Tao's HP below 50% in order to sustain it. Her elemental skill converts her normal attack to pyro damage, which cannot be overridden by any other elemental infusion. This means pairing up her with Xinqiu will be really strong. Her elemental burst is a large AoE that regenerates HP, which means you have the option to not put a healer on a team, and instead add another support or DPS to make your party stronger. Hu Tao doesn't really have energy recharge worries because she is centered around her elemental skill, which has a 9-second duration and 16-second cooldown, with only 7 seconds of downtime. Hu Tao's Constellations are more appealing than Xiao. Her C1 allow her to not consume stamina while in her elemental skill state. Her C4 grants crit rate to her team, and C6 gives her a 100% crit rate, but she is also viable as C0. Both characters are strong, so if you like either character's design better, roll for that one. Otherwise, look at your own teams and see which one fits more. Right now, there's no true Anemo DPS characters, so roll for Xiao if you want a different playstyle and have a main Pyro DPS already. If you don't have a main Pyro DPS such as Diluc or Klee, I recommend rolling for Hu Tao because Pyro DPS are really important because it reacts to other elements well, and especially important in Spiral Abyss. Hu Tao can break enemies' shields, whereas Xiao will have a bit of trouble dealing with elemental shields. But Hu Tao really needs her specialized weapon that you probably need in order to maximize her damage. The Staff of Homa is literally made for Hu Tao, but Xiao doesn't have a specialized weapon. You can put a Blackcliff pole or the BP weapon on Xiao and it'll work just as well. But just know that even without Staff of Homa, and if you really need a Pyro DPS, Hu Tao will probably benefit your team more than Xiao. A main Pyro DPS such as a Homa-less Hu Tao still outweighs a Xiao if you don't have one. For the question, character constellations or weapons, I will say 5-star weapons outweigh extra character constellations for any characters. If you don't have a good 5-star weapon, you will do less damage even if you have an extra constellation or two. For example, Hu Tao's first constellation can change her whole playstyle, but a Staff of Homa will give her more damage. The Staff of Homa's substat of crit damage will benefit both Xiao and Hu Tao, so if you have extra Primogems you can spare, aiming for this weapon will definitely benefit polearm characters either way. In conclusion, looking at both characters as of now, they are definitely viable as C0, and Hu Tao will benefit more with her specialized weapon. Gameplay wise, if you don't have a main Pyro DPS, I highly recommend going for Hu Tao instead of Xiao. Xiao's Constellations doesn't add attack, and so he's similar to him in that characteristic. Alright, this basically sums up what this video is about, and honestly, deciding who to roll comes down to one thing: following your heart, or if you care about gameplay, whether you have a pyro damage dealer or not. If you like this video, Be sure to subscribe and turn on post notifications. I got a special video coming up soon, so be sure to keep an eye out on that, and I'll see you guys next time.